the last couple of weeks, Ohio State students all received, I think, 2 separate emails about partying safely.
Yes.
I guess just as a fifth-year female student at Ohio State, I've just always been under the impression that being drugged at a bar or at an off-campus party is something to be aware of. So I guess we were wondering what prompted both of these emails to be sent out, if it was the actual filing of police reports, or if students directly were coming to the university, or...
Yeah, actually, so somebody would have to tell me what was the proximal, what led to it directly. Actually, I wouldn't know. I heard that this was all happening. We were sitting out another of our series of reminders, warnings, whatever we would call them, that's really important to take care of yourselves and do your best to be smart and thoughtful, which I would want for all of you all the time. And when we know that there are, all of us know in the grown-up world that there's circumstances of criminal behavior that go on that we're vulnerable to, and so we try to minimize those and be reactive as we can.
So of the 3 police records that we obtained, one of them was a female reporting being drugged at the Alpha Epsilon Pi fraternity house, and that's one of the fraternities that's been suspended since May of 2018, I believe. So what is the university's role in that becoming a problem? Because obviously if somebody gets hurt there, the university can't really absolve themselves of responsibility, even if they're not directly...
Well, there's complicated issues there. We first, and I hope everybody believes fully that we are entirely interested in your safety and your growth as human beings, and doing everything we can to have you leave this as a wonderful experience, then go in the world and make your mark on the world. So that's what we're always interested in doing. And so we have policies and rules that are in place to help support that goal. There are people who behave in ways that are outside our jurisdiction, off campus, other things, outside our control. Those are separate matters. Those are matters that are investigated. Sometimes they're criminal matters, sometimes they're conduct matters, and we do our best to investigate those when we have complaints and then come to an equitable decision. But what happens and what the outcome of the investigations can be, there's an incredible range of what's possible in investigation, so we have to wait till we have those before we know what the proper role is.
So you're saying the university can or cannot punish or reprimand fraternities or sororities that are operating underground, like they've already been suspended, but they're still...
There's some things that are really outside our jurisdiction. You know, we have our rules and things that we sanction in the code of conduct, and then there's behavior that is outside our vision and outside our level of control. If there's an investigation of such behaviors, there may be actions there that we could things that we could act on behalf of, but we have to wait until the investigation shows those things. And as you know, there are other investigatory bodies and other penalties that are potentially at play here as well.
So in the case of this female student who filed a police report about
Yes.
being drugged at this fraternity, the university's going to investigate it, or is
I think there's a police report, so there'd be a police investigation.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then based on the outcome of that is when the university would get
Yes.
involved?
Yes, and you adults understand that's how we have to get the data, have the investigation, and then do our best to make the right decision at the end.
Now, one of the things that we had heard about it was that Columbus Police is going to be handling a lot of the investigation process, that since it did happen off campus, at least some of the incidents that took place at bars or the underground fraternities, that it's going to be more Columbus Police. What sort of can Ohio State do to assist in the investigation, if anything? We
cooperate actively with CPD and other agencies routinely on these and other matters. We want to be good citizens and good partners, and we nicely have a good relationship between our own Ohio State Police Department and CPD, but also, as you know, through federal agencies and others that we work with on a regular basis. And we try to coordinate. We all have the same end in mind, and we try to coordinate our activities to be as supportive as we can. So we'll do that, and as there are findings, then we are able to respond appropriately.
I'm wondering, from a more, zooming out, what do you see, policy-wise, as the role of the university in providing off-campus security, and how can you maximize the university's role in that arena?
Yeah, there are kind of natural boundaries to things that we are required to do or need to do, and then things that we might do, and then things that others are required to do. And so we look at that very carefully, and we have our own police force, and they have their jurisdiction, and we have our campus code of conduct and other things that apply to our campus officials. There are people who are not campus officials, and there's a whole world that's not the campus. And we look at those boundaries and try and do these in a reasonable, thoughtful way. Very important for us to have very good relationships with the police and investigating bodies that deal with things outside our jurisdiction. And I'll just say again, we're very pleased. We have really excellent relationships with them. There have been times when universities have not. I've witnessed many of those where the police and the university didn't have good communication, and there were often very unfortunate incidents of friction and different approaches to handling problems that turned out to not work in the interest of anyone. So we have active policies over all these years of working closely with our own police force, with CPD, and as I mentioned, with federal agencies and others. And then there are times when we overlap, and we try to be mutually supportive.